Since the launch of WarZ recently, there's been a lot of confusion outside of the DayZ mod community as to what the WarZ is and how it fits into the zombie survival MMO genre. Controversy over WarZ aside, this segment is going to look at a few of the gameplay differences between the DayZ mod and WarZ for people who have not yet played either title. Because let's be honest, the process of installing a mod is still a barrier for many recreational gamers. Let's start with the basics. DayZ is a mod for Arma 2 Combined Operations, a one-time $30 purchase on Steam. The DayZ mod came out before WarZ and got on our radar around July of 2012. Its creator Dean Hall is currently working on a standalone version for release hopefully early this year, but there have been delays. Currently, over 1.5 million people have tried the DayZ mod according to the DayZ website. WarZ just came out recently and has 3 potential upfront costs: $15, $25, and $50. It also has a free-to-play-esque microtransaction system in-game. While we were writing this segment, several patches were released that seem to be pushing players towards this in-game transaction system by limiting starting gear. WarZ was initially offered on Steam, but was pulled for false advertising, so you have to go directly to their website in order to purchase it. The current state of WarZ as of January 9th states that it's an alpha build. When it comes to overall experience, in both games your goal is simply to scavenge and survive. Both zombies, the environment, and more importantly other players are trying to kill you. There's no endgame in either case. When it comes to how the games are unlike each other, if you boil it all down for beginners, the following things are different. In the DayZ mod, your biggest threat as a starting player in the classic vanilla game is zombies. DayZ has unlimited sprint, however zombies aggro much faster and will chase you indefinitely. You can only escape them by exploiting zombie pathfinding issues on hills or indoors, by distracting them, or by killing them. Hunger and thirst in DayZ take quite a long time to be life-threatening and become very secondary once you get your first axe and can handle the horde. Firearms in DayZ are mostly for killing other players, as zombies move in an erratic and janky fashion, making them hard to hit. Not to mention, they're attracted to the sound of gunfire. New players can mitigate their risk by using the DayZ Commander tool to search for friendly and noob servers. You can also find underpopulated servers or servers that give players starting weapons. In WarZ, your biggest threat as a starting player is definitely other players. This is for 2 reasons. First off, zombies only aggro at close distances and they give you a lot of grunts and growls to let you know they're getting pissed off. Unlike in the DayZ mod, in WarZ you can outrun zombies, although you have to manage your stamina bar properly. Another reason other players are so deadly is your starting weapon is a flashlight that screams fresh meat from across the map. Players will kill you on sight for any reason or no reason at all. Much the same as in the DayZ mod, once you have your first hammer, and good luck finding it, the zombie threat ceases to exist, then you can go back to being afraid of people. Your food and water levels plummet a little bit more quickly than in DayZ, so you do have to do a lot more scavenging to stay alive. The best way to mitigate your risk in WarZ is also to go find underpopulated servers. When you get there, global chat folks to see if they're friendly, or hit the tab key and see how many of them have gone bandit. Now let's talk ease of use. DayZ has a huge learning curve. You really need 2 screens to get going. One to play on and the other to look up tutorials. The inventory management system is, to put it mildly, a pretty terrible interface. To put it bluntly, it'll cause you to erase your guns, confuse you on how to get weapons up and running, and get you killed for standing in one place for too long. It's been argued that this enhances the survival horror experience, but for new players there's plenty of other things trying to put you in the dirt to have to worry about it. We'll see if the future release of the standalone DayZ game corrects this. When it comes to navigation, vanilla DayZ requires extensive memorization of the landscape, and by memorization I mean dying a lot. You have to find a map somewhere to even see the terrain, and without a GPS can only find where you are by looking at landmarks. Also, the in-world signs are in Russian, so good luck reading those. Finally, DayZ does remember your gear across servers. However, if you want to store gear for your next life, you need to find and pitch a tent. That tent is persistent only on the server you placed it in, and can be looted by any player who comes across it. Warzy, when it actually works, and that's a big when in capital letters, does have an edge over DayZ in terms of being a more casual experience. The inventory management system is a very intuitive drag and drop mechanic. Players start with a map that always shows their location and direction. While loot drop locations still require memorization, navigating to them does not. Learning the game is a fairly fast trial and error process, mostly consisting of learning to be more cautious when dealing with other players. There are safe zones, highlighted in red in Warzy, where players can go to store global inventory for their next life. Later on, this game ends up being kind of a squirrel simulator, with players collecting gear and stashing it in the safe zone while trying to avoid predators. The flip side of this is that Warzy gives players a 1-hour cooldown period after death. That is to say, you have 5 character slots, so when one character dies, you have to move on to the next character. Or the better option is just to delete your character and start a new one, because you lose all your loot on death anyway. It's a strange mechanic and seems to be targeted at an unimplemented skill system, or possibly a coin-op business model. While we were playing on January 9th, a patch dropped that seemed to permanently strip starting gear from players, even if they deleted their character and started a new one. So in conclusion, both games are survival horror. DayZ is a mod, Warzy is a separate standalone. DayZ is harder, but goes much deeper for experienced players, while Warzy is more casual and easier to get into, but you may have to load your hard-earned quarters into the microtransaction system to enjoy it. The wild card in this is the upcoming DayZ standalone game. With over 1 million players having tried the DayZ mod, there's no question that the genre is here to stay, and most likely more than one major publisher will try their own hand at it eventually. So have you played DayZ or Warzy? What do you think about the differences between the two? As always, we'd love to hear your comments and ideas, and thanks for watching.